DreAllDay.com.
You're now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of wait for things to happen. And then we put all this together into one philosophy, one package. We have streamlined this process, codified our entire system. We have a hardcover book, we have a university, and this daily masterclass that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is the discomfort of growth versus not belonging where you are. How can you differentiate between the two? Whenever we start something new, or you're doing something that's outside of your normal comfort zone, there are two different ways that it can be looked at. Maybe you are experiencing the discomfort being out of your comfort zone because you're just doing something new. It's going to expand you. As they say, pain is weakness leaving the body. So you're dealing with something that's different. Your body is reacting to it. Maybe you're getting an emotional reaction, you're getting a physical reaction, a spiritual reaction to doing something different. And maybe that's all it is. You just need to stick with it, stay where you are, stay in that situation, and you will eventually get over it and it will become part of your comfort zone. But there is a possibility that when you step out of your comfort zone and you start to feel those feelings of discomfort, maybe it's not just you adjusting to something new that you will eventually get used to. Maybe you're feeling those feelings of discomfort because you shouldn't be doing the thing that you're doing. Maybe you don't belong in that space. Maybe you shouldn't be hanging with these people. Maybe this is not something that you should get comfortable with. Maybe it's not just you, expanding your comfort zone and, getting weakness out of your body. Maybe you're just in the wrong place and you need to get the hell out of there. And that's why you're feeling that discomfort. Your instinct is trying to tell you something. So the question that we're addressing here today is, how can you differentiate between the two? How do you know when it's you just growing and it feels discomfort because you're growing, or if it's discomfort because you shouldn't be in that space and you need to get the hell out of there ASAP? I heard someone ask this question when I was on Clubhouse, which is the audio streaming app where people can just be in rooms and talk to each other. And there was a Clubhouse room about living authentically and showing up as your true self. And someone had posed this exact question. And I said, this is a good question. I'm going to steal it. And they made it a hot line. I'm going to make it a hot song by making a whole episode about that very topic. So here we are. So shout out to Clubhouse and whoever asked that question in that room. So let's get into it. Point number one, topic once again is are you feeling the discomfort of growth, or are you feeling the discomfort of being in the wrong place? Number one, as I just said, they can feel the same way at first. All right? It can be hard to differentiate between the two because the feeling of anxiety and the feeling of excitement are the exact same energy. When I was the president of Toastmasters Miami Beach for about a year and a half in South Beach, and this is around 2014 and 2015-16, I would encourage people to get up and give their first speeches. And Toastmasters, by the way, for those who don't know, is a voluntary club that's all around the world, volunteer organization where people show up, they gather on their own volition to basically work on communication skills. And communication is not just giving speeches, but also listening and interpreting what people are saying. But when people would join the club, a lot of times people would join because they wanted to get better at speaking. Sometimes people would get sent there by their job. Sometimes people would join because they were just looking to network and make new friends. Maybe somebody was new to town. So you met all different kinds of people, and many people who are still friends of mine to this very day that I met there at Toastmasters. And I already had pretty good speaking skills by the time that I joined. So what I spent a lot of my time in Toastmasters doing was encouraging other people to get up on the stage and speak. And one day at the end of the meeting, as the president, I would always close the meeting. And I said to people, because people would get up there and they would get nervous, they would forget what they were going to say. They were giving speeches about their own lives. They were telling stories about things that happened in their lives, and they forgot what happened in the story. They didn't actually forget. What happened is, because of the anxiety they were feeling while standing on the stage, it blocked their access to the information that was already in their brain. And people would say things like, man, I'm so anxious, I'm so nervous, my palms are sweating, even though I'm only had to stand up here for 5 minutes and there's only 15 people in the room, and I feel nervous about giving a speech. And what I said at the end of the meeting one day was, anxiety and excitement are the exact same energy. If you really think about it, you think about the last time you felt anxiety and the last time you felt excitement, you are feeling the exact same thing, but you labeled them differently. Anxiety and excitement are you, your mind, and your emotions anticipating something that's going to happen in the future, or maybe something that's happening right now in the moment. Anxiety is when we're feeling a little bit wary of the situation. Maybe we don't want that thing to happen, or it's something negative that is going on, or we're anticipating something negative occurring. And excitement is those same feelings, but for something positive. Something positive is happening. We're happy that this thing is happening, or we really want this great thing to occur, or we're predicting that this great thing is going to occur. But they are the exact same feeling. The difference is just whether we're labeling them positive or negative. When you think about it, though, it seems crazy. If you really think about it logically, you're like, that does make sense. But then when you think about it even further, it seems crazy. Like, damn, anxiety and excitement are the same energy. They don't feel the same, but they are exactly the same. The same way that, if any of you ever read anything about food, especially in the candies industry, something like M&M's or Mike and Ike's or Skittles or any of those types of candy, if you read up on it, they'll tell you that, let's say a bag of Skittles, everybody knows Skittles or M&M's, that the yellow M&M, the brown M&M, the red M&M, or the red Skittle, the green Skittle and the yellow Skittle, that on the inside, they all taste exactly the same. That there is no difference between the red Skittle and the green Skittle. Now, you might be saying, hold on, Dre. Now, I might not know too much about anxiety and excitement, but I do know candy. You're saying that the red Skittles and the green Skittles are the same flavor? No, they are not. I'm telling you that yes, they are. The only difference between the red Skittle and the green Skittle is the color on the Skittle, and maybe a little bit of flavoring that they put on the coating. So the green Skittles coating is supposed to taste like, what is that, supposed to be lime? Now we know there's no real lime in there, right? None of you are that naive in 2021. And the red Skittle is supposed to be what, cherry, strawberry, whatever it is, and we know there's no real cherry or strawberry. They put a little bit of flavoring on the coating, but the inside of the Skittle, outside of the coating, the inside part, they are all exactly the same. The only difference is the coating they put on the outside. It's the same thing with anxiety and excitement. It's just the coating that goes on the outside of the candy. It's the same thing with M&Ms. It's the same energy. And what all of this means is this, that you can, number one, you can stop taking out the certain color M&Ms and Mike and Ike's because you don't like those colors. They're the exact same flavor. You're the one who's being fooled on that. And the other thing is, here's the point number one. You might need to go a bit further in what you're doing before you decide which is which. Before you decide that what you're feeling is anxiety over doing something that is maybe not for you, versus you're feeling excitement over something that will be for you, but you have to get comfortable with it. You may not be able to label it so quickly at first. So anyone who's usually, in my experience, when someone's asking me this question, and I had someone ask me this question recently, as a matter of fact, when someone's asking this question, usually it's at the beginning of what they're doing, because they're feeling this energy and they're like, damn, this feels kind of uncomfortable, but they're at least willing to dance with it to the point that they can bring the question to me and say, well, Dre, no, this is the situation. Which one is it that I'm feeling? At least they had the wherewithal to ask the question instead of just quitting or just bailing out. But you might have to dance with it for a little bit longer. You might have to dance for a few songs before you can label and figure out what is this, because at first it may be kind of hard to differentiate. You may have to get a little bit more information. Moving on to point number two. The topic today is, are you feeling the discomfort of growth or the anxiety of of being in the wrong place at the wrong time? Number two, here's a question that you should ask yourself. Does this situation, this new thing that I'm doing that is causing this feeling of discomfort, positive or negative, does it align with my values? I heard someone say that fear is excitement without breathing. That's a good one. I like that. Fear is excitement without breathing. So when you're asking yourself if this thing that you're doing, this place that you're at, if it aligns with your values, ask yourself, how do you feel, not necessarily in your mind, because our minds will tell us anything. Your conscious mind will tell you anything to save you energy, save you time, save you attention, and to basically fill in the blanks of whatever it thinks it's supposed to be telling you. And you can't always trust your conscious thoughts. Okay, so I'm not asking you how you feel in your mind, but how do you feel in your soul? How do you feel in your spirit about the thing that you're embarking on? All right, this is a further question to help you answer from question number one, because I told you point number one, that you may have to go a little bit further. So here's the next question you can ask yourself. But again, give yourself some time on this. This is not something that you should be asking yourself in the span of the time it takes me to talk about it. This might be over the span of weeks and days and experiences, so you can really understand how you feel. Give it some time. How do you feel in your soul about the thing that you're embarking on? Because your answer to this question, even if you don't have an answer, that'll tell you a lot about if you belong where you're at. And it'll give you some, maybe the answer is not so clear. Maybe the answer will be, well, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it's I feel a little bit funny. Maybe it's I need more information. Maybe it's I definitely don't belong here. Maybe it's, you know what, I need to move on and do something else. Maybe it's I need to stay here because now I'm realizing what I'm really feeling. But again, if you try to be too quick and give yourself answers, you just try to have all the answers just because maybe somebody taught you that you just need to be quick in answering everything. In times in life, it is like that, but there are times when it's not. And I've told you that the height of wisdom is understanding that knowing a piece of strategy or knowledge does not mean you just apply it to every single thing you do in life. Wisdom is understanding that there are times to apply certain information, there are times to apply the exact opposite information. So ask yourself, how do you feel in your soul about it? It'll tell you a lot, and understand and remember rather that your instincts never lie to you. Your instincts will always tell you the truth. The problem for many of us when it comes to instincts is that we've ignored our instincts for so long that we no longer recognize the voice. That our instincts still talk to us, but we don't even recognize the voice because we've gotten so used to tuning out our instincts, so used to not listening to what our instincts had to say to us. So you got to get back in touch with what those instincts are. And I talked about this in episode 1448, how to reconnect with your instincts and gut feelings. So if you don't feel like you're connected to your instincts, you don't really feel connected to yourself, listen to episode number 1448. That is where I discuss how to get that connection back. I also talked about this in episode number 1713. If you're feeling lost, the real secret to finding yourself and reconnecting with yourself. So if you feel like you've kind of disconnected with where you're at, we talked about that again, episode 1713. Learn to listen to the answer when you ask if you're doing something dumb versus experiencing a growth period. Wrong place or the right place, but you got to learn to listen to the answer. And to listen to the answer, here's what you have to do. You got to stop talking. To listen to the answers coming from your instincts, you got to be quiet, because the instincts do not shout. The instincts do not yell. They don't have a megaphone. All right, they don't amplify their sound. They don't ask people to retweet their message. Their instincts don't go viral. All right, now your conscious thoughts do all those things. Conscious thought speaks a lot louder than instinct. So the only way that you'll ever be able to hear your instincts is you got to tell your conscious thoughts to shut the hell up. You got to quiet your mind. This is why people meditate. This is why people do yoga. This is one of the reasons, to quiet their minds so they can get in touch with those instincts. So any of you who's that type A, always hustling, always going type individual, you never really give yourself time and space where you're not on your phone, you're not on a device, you're not being stimulated by something, I would suggest that you get back in touch with that person, because that's the real you there. It's not, the real you is not the person that says, I need to go get me a car, I need to make this money, I need to get to this position. Even though there's nothing wrong with those things, the real you is the person that would speak to you if you would tell your conscious mind to shut the hell up and you would actually listen. But you don't even know who that is anymore because you haven't listened to it in a long time. But the relationship is still salvageable if you give yourself time to listen. I did an episode on meditation. That is episode number 1476. Why you need a meditation practice in your life. I did that 2 days after I told you to stop watching the news. I told you to get a meditation practice in your life. And that is not by coincidence. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is, are you dealing with the discomfort of growth, or are you dealing with the discomfort of being in the wrong place as the wrong person at the wrong time? Point number 3. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. This is a very simple decision-making process. A very simple, very easy process of making decisions that will help you make decisions faster. You will make decisions consuming less energy. It will, of course, take you a lot less time, and I think you will get a lot higher ROI on the decisions that you make. Why? Because you're only going to be doing things. You're only going to say yes to things that you are really excited about doing. Now, let me ask you a question. If you started actually doing this and you only said yes to things that you were really excited about, things that you said hell yeah to, and you said no to anything that was less than a hell yes, do you think you would be doing more things that you enjoy? Do you think you'd be spending less time in places that you really don't want to be in? Do you think you would spend less time with people that you don't want to be around? Do you think you would eliminate a lot of people, places, habits, and ideas and energies from your life that shouldn't be there right now, but you just had not built up the initiative to get rid of? I think the answers to all those questions are yes, 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 and yes. When you start applying this hell yes or no mentality, you'll be doing a lot less things, period, in general, but you'll be doing more of the stuff that you actually want to be doing. So between the lines of what I just said, less quantity, higher quality. You're not doing as many things, but the things that you are doing, you enjoy every single one of them. Will that help your life? Will it help your business? Will it help your relationships? I think the answer to those are all yes. All hell yes, better yet. This is a win-win situation. Now the question then is, since this is such a simple concept, why don't many people do it? Why do so many people seem to be doing things that they definitely was not a hell yes for them, but they're doing it anyway? They probably wouldn't to say no, but they didn't say no, and they're stuck in that position. Why do so many people not use this, even though the concept is so simple? Well, there are several answers. One is people's discomfort with discomfort. They are uncomfortable telling people no. They're uncomfortable extracting themselves, taking themselves out of places that they don't want to be anymore. They're uncomfortable removing people from their lives, removing habits and things from their lives, because people get into the state of inertia. The law of inertia states that an object in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force, and an object that is not in motion will remain not in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Many people just stay with the status quo of their lives simply because they're not willing to make the change. It takes energy to make change. And most people don't want to use energy. It takes work to use energy. Or energy is the capacity to do work, rather. It takes energy to do work. Why are so many people doing things they're not excited about? Well, I just told you. And the reasons are we don't know how to say no. And I talked about this in episodes number 290, which was, episode 290 was knowing how to say no, and episode number 654, which is how to say no and really mean it. So if you want to learn how to do that, then I would suggest you listen to those episodes. Again, 654 and 290. And I talked about this hell yeah or no concept way back in episode 196. So again, that's 196, 290, and 654. That being said, let's recap today's class, which is, are you dealing with the discomfort of growth or are you dealing with a discomfort because you don't belong in the place that you're at? Point number one, these can feel exactly the same way at first. Anxiety and excitement are the same energy. Red M&M and the green M&M are the exact same M&Ms. It's got a different color on it and a different little bit of coating of fake, whatever flavor that's supposed to be on the outside of the candy. Do not be fooled. What that means is you might need to go a bit further before you decide which is which, because it may be hard to tell at first. Point number two, ask yourself, does it align with your values? Someone said that fear is excitement without breathing. So ask yourself how you feel in your soul about what you're embarking on. Your conscious mind will tell you anything. Don't trust your conscious mind. Trust how your soul is feeling, how your instincts are feeling. And you can't hear your instincts until you tell your conscious mind to shut the hell up. And it might take you a little bit of time to condition yourself to be able to do that. So don't try to make the decision too fast. And point number three, if it's not a hell yes, then the answer is no. It's a simple process for decision making that makes decisions faster, makes you take less energy. You will have a lower quantity of things that you are committed to, but a higher quality of things that you are committed to. Why would anybody not use this? Because people are afraid of saying no, whether that is metaphorically or saying no directly. And that's why many people find themselves dealing with mediocrity in their lives, not because they don't recognize the mediocrity, but because they're unwilling to do anything about it. Now, if you're ready to start being unapologetic about yourself and the decisions that you make and getting rid of things that don't belong, take my course of that title. It's called Unapologetic. It's available in Work On Your Game University. Just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. You can see not only that, but the other 12 courses available in the university, everything else that we're going to add in the future. That is at workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.